So I think that's working. Yay, okay. Very nice, very nice. I'm gonna pull up the chat on a different screen. We'll see how this goes. Because I need to draw out some of my characters. And I need to do it. And I was like, oh, why not? I'll go and try and stream this. Seems to be working. So, yeah. Okay. Perfect. So, okay, there we go. I'm pulling up some reference photos so that I can actually start drawing the child version of one of my characters that I have for the book that I'm writing. Because I think I want to redesign how she looked when she was younger, just because of the fact that it has been quite a while since I've drawn her and her her character. I'll show you what the very original stuff is. And I mean, it's going to look a little scuffed, but that is her as her current self. But I really want to redraw it because it is so bad. It is so old. And I just haven't drawn her in so long. So I was like, why not? I'll redraw her and I'll stream it because, why not? And I think I'm going to use my green pencil. Okay, here we go. Probably should have put on some music before I started this, but, I didn't. So we're going to be talking then. So, I mean, this character, it's in my my book, technically has about 3 different versions of herself. And the first 2 are human-esque versions. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, she probably has about 4 different versions of herself. And that's starting with her form when she first gets resurrected. And it would be just the adult version of this child self, right? And then sorry. Right after that, it would be the corrupted version of her, where she's fully combined with the nightmare. And then after that, then we have the nightmare form, which is also one I have to draw because that character itself, I've lost the drawings to a while back. I just don't know where they ended up in my stuff, so I was like, well, shoot, looks like I'm gonna have to go and redraw the nightmare version, which is it's good and bad because it's it gives me a chance to redesign stuff, but as well as that, it allows me to play around a little bit more with the way these characters are supposed to be and supposed to look, especially since, like, I'm not very good at drawing people. Something I've come to find out is people are not my strong suit. Just not good at them. They make me very frustrated trying to draw, because it just never turns out the way I want it to. Especially when the reference I'm looking at isn't what I'm feeling. I'm not feeling it. Let's try something else. Because I'm just not feeling that reference, and I don't think it's going to go well with a style of art that I have. This one might. This one's okay. So, a moment. Oh, I love how scuffy this is. I might move on and try and draw the Nightmare one, because of that I have a lot more free will to just do whatever I want with, really, because it's just not. It's not as specific in the way that it's designed. I know there was like certain features that were quite important to the Nightmare versions, which was that they had to be like very skinny. I mean, you had to see the anatomy that they had, so their bones were very distinct in the fact that they were constantly visible. So I know that's like one thing with the Nightmare versions that was like very prominent, was the fact that they, like, you had to be able to see their skeletal structure. And then, as well as that, there's the other part of this where, as well as that, they tended to be like still like very fluffy and fuzzy in the way that they were. So I know that's something I would really like to go try doing, is to redesign the characters, because in all honesty, like, these characters have been my biggest inspiration and where I started off with my art, and I really wanted to be able to put that forward and make something for them that was like worthy of that. But it's definitely hard. I put this project off for quite a while before I picked it up again, because you know what, writing a book it's hard. It's tiring. There's not a whole lot I can do about it, you know? Like, I understand that it's a little important to like fully understand the perspective of everything and how it works and how it's going to be. Like, in a way, it's definitely interesting. The fact that I'm like still so young, like I'm graduating from high school as of like this year. So it's crazy for me to think that like in these coming days I'm gonna have to like, you know, actually be an adult and do stuff and like get a job. Like it's just hard to think, especially since like I don't know what I'm going to do when I like get out. I don't know if I'm going to do like still pursue like art. Like I really do want to. Like art has always been something that I've enjoyed. As well as that, I'm like very attuned to like spirits. So I know that's like another thing that I was like really wanting to get into. And I'm hoping I like do. Especially since like I have haunted objects. I have one specific one that comes and hangs out with me occasionally. His name is Terrence, and like he's what really it inspired me to push into like being able to pursue such like things, like trying to get into doing stuff like this. Like it was kind of important to me to be able to step in and like start doing this thing that I've had a lot of passion for. Like my parents have definitely been a terrific like they've been terrific people to encourage me in my like want to do art. Although it's definitely hard, especially in the more upcoming years, because like I'm not, in all honesty, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like make it as an artist, especially with the fact that I have a hard time with staying online and like in media. I've just never been super interested in it. And I'm trying. I'm trying to put an effort into maybe making content and putting it out there. That way at least people can see my art and experience it. And like even if I don't make it as an artist, at least I know I still tried to put myself out there, and I still tried in general to do stuff and to be a part of this community that I've loved for so long. Moment, the lighting in here is just terrible. Let me go grab. I'm gonna grab a set of small lights that I have, and I'm just gonna put where my fucking phone is covering the lights. Anyway. It didn't help much, but you know what? Better than nothing, you know. I don't know. Art has always been something that I was really hoping to, you know, make a career out of, and then I just didn't end up happening, and it was interesting to come across that realization that despite the fact that I enjoy this and I like am genuinely pretty okay at like drawing and creating characters, and I've been learning more skills, like including being able to animate. It's just not enough. And what's I think more frustrating, and I think a lot more artists like other than me can agree, is like the rise of AI. It's like, no, it's hard to think that like this passion that I have, the want to create and share and to like give people these things that I've made and like have them be seen by others, and then to, you know, like share this world that I've been trying to create and all of that for just so long, that it could just be undermined so quickly by simple thing as an AI. Like it's important, I think, to really consider like the fact that despite the fact that this is like my passion and I love doing this, and I really do wish it could like properly be my career, that, you know what, like it might not, which is interesting to think, especially since like I've tried a lot. I've missed opportunities that you know what, like I wish I could have taken, and I wish I was encouraged a little more to take those risks and to do those things. But you know what, I didn't, and that was okay. Like, so it's the fact that I didn't take the risks. Maybe I just wasn't aware that those risks were an option. Like I've gotten pretty far with what I have, and you know what, I've done a pretty good job of it, of being able to like have something to show for my art. I mean, like, hell, I've created so much stuff. I've watched myself get better and better at creating and drawing and being able to have these characters that I like just made up in my head and was just like, yeah, no, I think other people would really want to see that. And you know what? Like maybe they do, maybe they don't. In honesty, I think you have to look for that community if you want it. If you want to be able to share your passion, you need to find people, the people with the same kind of passion. And you know what? I found that in a group of friends, and they've inspired me to push more, to create more. Like, I love them, and I appreciate the fact that they were able to, you know, inspire me to push that far and to do these things that otherwise I probably wouldn't have done. And like again, I do wish I could have done more with my with my art, and especially since this has always been something I've like dreamed of doing, with being able to create and to make money off of that and possibly live off of that. But you know what? Like if I don't end up doing that, I hope that at the very least I can keep up with like this channel and like possibly grow it to a point that I'll be able to like actually, you know, have a community here and be able to like talk to people or literally anything. Like being able to show the people around me that like despite the fact that I'm not this big artist, that I'm still here doing what I love, and that even if in the end I'm not able to, you know, like really reach that goal of success in my art, that I'm able to at the very least feel like I succeeded in something, and that I was able to get myself out there, even if it was just like a little bit. Like there's so many creators out there that have inspired me over the years, and you know what, I'm like so thankful that they were able to get out there and do something that I wasn't able to do, because you know what, it's definitely like it's inspiring to have that there and to be able to you know, like share that with others, to share the experience of having people there. Because you know what, like it is important to me, and I do really want to make it out there. But you know what, I don't think I'm gonna go to college for my art. I don't think it's going to be worth it. Like I get why most people do it. In all honesty, I really get it. A lot of people go there to learn. Others go there more for the experience of having the ability to go somewhere and to experience these kinds of stuff, and to be able to get the connections that are there, and that would help provide this like great, fantastic like experience, like showing people that like you can get out there even if you don't go to like a college for it. Like I don't personally, I don't think I'm gonna go to a college for my art. I don't think it's going to get me much further. And like despite the fact that it will give me so many connections that'll probably help, I think it's something that if I try hard enough, I can achieve on my own. And it's 100% going to take a long time to figure that out, to figure out how to do that, and how to get myself out there enough that I'll be noticed as like this artist. And you know what, if I can take small steps, like just trying to get out there and spontaneously putting up a stream, even though I know, like, nobody's watching this. I messed up that line. Nobody's watching this, and that's, you know what, that's okay. I can sit here and talk to myself like I'm crazy because, you know what? In the end, if that's just how it is, then, I mean, that's just how it is, and that's how it's gonna be, and you know what I think? In all honesty, I can accept that. Even if, like, I can probably get myself out there more if I maybe went on a different platform. It goes back to the way AI is, and the fact that, like, artists are, like, struggling pretty heavily with trying to get out and stay out, like, without being undermined by AI, and the fact that, like, technically all that AI ever does is recycle art. It, like, just repeats itself, and I think it's discouraged a lot of artists from, posting on platforms and getting out there and all that, because there's just that knowing feeling, and actually knowing that when your art goes out there, it's just going to be snatched up by AI and then recycled and used as a just cheap knockoff. And it undermines the genuine work you actually put into doing art and making art and all of that. Like, you know what? Like, who cares? We can try, and I think that's all most people can actually ask for, is that we try to stand up to the fact that we don't want ourselves to be put out there as, like, these things for AIs to copy off of, and people to create cheap art with no effort, with no thought behind it. Like, I do feel like AI could be useful. Like, it could definitely be useful. It can definitely provide for us something that, like we hadn't before. But using it in the way that we did, where we're literally getting rid of something that an AI could never actually, like, we don't want that to happen. The thing about art is that it requires emotion. It requires genuine thoughts and feelings, and, like, it doesn't matter what you create, but you put intent behind what you created, even if it was just, like, a little doodle of something. Often, that little doodle that you made was related to how you're feeling in that moment. And I feel like that's something that's, like, quite important that AI lacks drastically, and I don't think it should be something that we fix, because it's what makes us very different from AI, is the fact that we have emotions and we can feel for each other, and that we understand that, like, these thoughts, these emotions are actual things that we feel, and that fuel our creativity. Because, our emotions do fuel our creativity. They fuel like what we create and how we create it. And I feel like that isn't something that AI should have. I feel like we should go back to the drawing board with AI, and we should rethink what we're using it for and how it's being used. Because, like, hearing about the fact that, like, people have a very big disconnection from, like, those, like, the people around us. We have such a disconnection from each other. Like, we really do have a very big disconnection from each other. We can't seem to go out in public and just spontaneously talk to people or anything. And I've heard that, like, part of my generation, when they go out to date people, literally just won't meet in person. And in some sense, like, I get it. There's safety with that, but also you don't get to see the full side of somebody. And I can genuinely say this, like, you don't get the full side of somebody when you're across the screens from each other. You don't get to see their natural, like, behaviors in the way that they move or speak or, like, anything. You don't get as good of a connection with the people around you when it's like that. Like, you're not able to connect the same with people. And I feel like it's sad to think that, like, you could just go out and talk to somebody, and instead we're choosing to not. We're choosing to separate ourselves like, more from each other. You know, at this rate, like, there's going to be a time period where we don't like see each other in person at all. Like, we just don't leave our houses, and I find that actually, like, really sad that we just decide that this isn't something we want to do. That we don't want to go out and engage with people in the same way. And I mean, I get it. I get some of the things going on. And it's just like, I don't have anything against anybody. Like, people are going to live their lives as they are, and as long as it's not hurting anybody else, like who cares? But there's a certain point where the behaviors that we have just aren't healthy. And, like, I do believe that we as human beings can be better with that. Like, we can totally be different about it and push to show that this isn't who we actually are, and that there's more to it than just, sitting in your house and doing nothing. And the thing is, I mean, I communicate with people a lot. I love to go out with my friends. I'm actually planning a trip out somewhere right now, so I can, go out and do things and be with people. Because I genuinely really hate being inside all the time. It's very frustrating. it's very lonely. I don't get to experience too much. And in all honesty, I end up really sad because I just know I could be doing so much more, and then I just end up not going out and doing more. Like, I have free will, and I know that, but I just don't seem to, like, care the fact that I can just go out and spontaneously do stuff and, like, go and experience things with people, to, like, communicate, to talk, to literally just go out somewhere and walk with them and talk about our life and how we're doing. And I think these are thoughts that are often forgotten about, or somebody thinks about them and then just shrugs it off and stays in bed anyway. I think there's a lot that I think people should be doing that we just don't. We don't do. And in all honesty, I do think it quite sad that it just isn't something that we consider going out to go do. That this is just another thing that we have learned to just accept. You know what? Like, when I'm walking home, I walk with my friend home, right? And one of the main things that we often bring up is, like, we should totally start a podcast, you know? And we always say it, but we never do it. And I feel like we should, like, totally do it. Because it sounds like so fun to be able to go and talk about the things that we already talk about, and, like, have people be able to tune in and listen to what we have to say about, like, certain things. I know we've talked about, like, religion, and I know we've also talked about what's it called? Sexuality and the constructs of the way AI is. Like, the thing is, like, me and her have both, like, similar yet different kinds of personalities and opinions on stuff, and we mix well together. We're very fun, and I do feel like that in the future, if, like, this channel does get, you know, actual followers of people, and, you know, I'm actually listened to or watched or any of that, then maybe I could actually, like, bring her on and we could talk about stuff. Because, like, I feel like it would be fun to do stuff like that. Okay, but this one is done. This is technically kind of what I'm imagining for her younger self. And I really want to be able to get in that other version. It's more, like, monstrous, because, yeah. And I kind of remember what I had done before, but also not really. But, you know, I'm thinking skeleton. Oh yeah, look at that thing squat. Anyway. But, you know, I would think it to be pretty interesting. I don't even know what to talk about. Like, I could just keep talking about, like, random shit for the next however long. But it's like, what's the point in talking about, you know, like, random shit like that? Like what would be the point? Oh, it has such a cute little face. I didn't actually mean to make her look so cutie patootie. Like she looks like I would wanna like hug that thing. Oh, the cutie patootie. Ah, look at how adorable. Leave it as a cute little face. I have a feeling that it just would be. So I know there's two versions of this character, of this specific one. And I know one of them is supposed to be like a chain, and the other one would be the bow that she uses to then cover it. And I'm probably going to draw the version with the bow because I want to be able to see what that's gonna look like. Because I'm thinking I want it very floppy, and I kind of want a couple like ribbon strands like that. And I'm enjoying the way that is. And then we'll get in the back. And then the ribs, because this is her neck technically. That would be her neck. Really fluffy about here. Tie the ribbon and create kind of this knot here, but it's like these nightmare creatures technically, like there would be two versions of their like nightmare forms. There'd be like this like more cartoon like of the nightmare, and then there's the corrupt version. There's the corrupt version of the nightmares. So this is the first one. This one actually is referred to as darkness, which is really like cliche and really funny, and it's kind of cringy for the name, but I also made her name way back when I first created the character, and then was just like, yeah, you know, I'm just not going to change it, because I don't know, I liked the name for her, and even like nowadays it's just like not something that I think I'm going to change, because it's nostalgic in the fact that like that's her name, because I used to be like, I mean, deathly afraid of the dark. I had a dream that was like terrible, like really bad. It was a really, really bad dream. And after that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't like sleep in in the dark anymore because I'm like scared that this dream is gonna like actually happen. You know, of course it didn't, but I was so petrified that it would. I couldn't sleep with without a light on. Oh god. Which is like, now that I think about it, like nowadays, I'm like, that was such a stupid reason to like suddenly become so afraid of the dark. But it's like, I mean, I was how old when this happened? I don't fucking know how old I was. Don't ask me. But it was like, I was just going to be afraid of the dark. Like, to me, in that situation when I was younger, it felt like so real. But I was like, I could never, like, that's like terrifying. Why would I ever like put myself in a situation where I'd have to actually like face that? And if you're so curious as to what the dream was, I'll tell you. I was driving home from a ballet recital because I did ballet when I was a little younger. Little baby me did ballet. And during that, like, I was coming home from one of the recitals that I was supposed to do, right? And I remember I had got home and I was so excited, and I ran into my bedroom, and my back wall was missing of my bedroom, right? And it was like looking out into the neighbor's yard, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I look at my bed, and there was blood on my bed, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember in this dream, I had run out of my bedroom screaming, yelling, oh my gosh, I think there's a vampire trying to come after me. Which was actually like really, really dumb. Because, I mean, why would the wall be missing? I don't know. My little brain said that's how that worked. That's how they like chose their prey. This thing would happen. So I was like dead ass convinced that this vampire was trying to come after me. And I remember waking up from my dream, like cold sweat. I was sobbing. And I remember it was one of those nights where I just wasn't getting out of bed. No, it was too dark to get out of bed. And I mean, I had been like perfectly fine with the dark beforehand. I was perfectly fine sleeping in a dark room. Because I just could care less. I was old enough that it wasn't like, oh, monsters were so scary. All of that, no. But after that, I was like, just terrified of the dark, and I would like refuse to sleep without my door open. And a few years later, I started like really opening up to spirits, which, you know, that's always a fun experience to, you know, actually experience. And I started seeing stuff a lot. It was like very scary, especially like since I would often see like full apparitions when I was young. you know what? You can blame it all you want on, like, overactive imagination, but to this day I still see that stuff. Started with the basement, my dad's place. I was convinced there was, like, something there, and then eventually, like, one day, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop being afraid of it. I'm going to, like, make friends with it. And I remember going down to the basement. I'd left the lights off for once, and I had gone down there, and I'd been like, hey, like, this isn't working for me, and I feel like we need to be friends, and I'll, like, make sure that every time I come down here, I, like, greet you and say hi and all of that. And you know what? It actually, like, it genuinely got better. I was, like, less afraid of the basement, and it was more like a game to both me and whatever was down there. And it would be basically like go ahead, you can run up the stairs, but if I'm not feeling it, just don't. And you know what? That's kind of just how we lived. Eventually, I actually, like, over the years, I'm still not, like, 100% sure what it is, but I mean, every time I go down there, I just greet him, like, hey, bud, hey, what's up? Been a while? Why? I don't know. I got into the habit of doing it and was like, yeah. Like, I don't have any, like, care in the world for any of that kind of stuff. I've had a lot of weird experiences, a lot of, like, strange dreams that, you know what, I don't think I'd ever be able to make sense of or explain in a way that wasn't just weird and odd and just kind of out of place. Like, experienced my fair share of spooky events. And you know what? I'm not done. I am not done with these spooky events. And I really want to pursue more. I want to be able to, like, actually, I really messed up his back half, and I don't want to look at it. I don't wind its tail, but most of this is, oof. No. No, thank you. Oh, yeah. There's my glue stick. I don't like it. It didn't turn out fine. It's fine. I'm allowed to restart that. If I don't finish this on the stream, though, I will just, post it. I might post it, I might not. I want to be able to post it. Also, I glued that down really crappily, but who cares? You know. I like how low to the ground his tail is. I'm thinking we need a bit more of, like, a... No. I don't know. I feel like that looks a little better. A lot of, like... Yeah, just doing stuff, you know. You there, man? I'm thinking something like that. I don't know where her more like twisted version went. I'm gonna have to like go search for it, but I remember I had drawn it at one point, like her twisted, evil, dark version, you know. And I have no clue where it is, and I really want to find it because it was a genuinely really good design, like for this character. So I want to be able to find it because I feel like that would be a very entertaining experience to use that for my book stuff. But it's so wrinkly and just weird. Glue. My hand got all gluey. What do you think of that? I think that looks good. Just by the fact that both ends are two different sizes. Both ends are two different colors. Technically, her body. This is an interesting fact about this specific character. Her body is technically completely like a black, and her nightmare version is more fleshy. Like she doesn't really have fur or skin. She's like a black goop, kind of like how Venom is. She's very parasite-like. Like even in her behavior is very parasite-like. She doesn't feed off of the body. She doesn't technically need a host, but she doesn't come from like the physical plane, like where we're from. She has her own like plane of existence, kind of like where all of these nightmare creatures come from. And when they find like when somebody is pulled from like the limbo place, so what's it called? It's like the area between life and death, so it's limbo. When somebody's pulled from limbo, a nightmare can attach itself to that person. And it's just like most nightmares, well, are of course an actual nightmare. They'll just, like, when they attach themselves to the person, that person, like, goes crazy and the nightmare takes over and corrupts the body and, you know, all that bad shit, you know? And after they corrupt the body, it eventually, like, ends up, you know, killing the host and the host body. So they both end up dying, and the person goes back to limbo. And this time they have no chance of resurrection. And it'll take years for the nightmare to, you know, be able to have a host again. But for some, they've learned after much trial and error that if instead of, you know, fighting their host, they make a deal that will satiate their desire to kill and cause chaos, that, like, they could, like, both the host and the nightmare can be able to stay as, like, this physical, in the physical plane, and neither of them will, like, end up dying or going back to the, back to limbo. Which, in all honesty, you know what, to most, like, it'll take years for for most of them to realize if they did that, then they could, like, stay. But this says, Darkness was actually one of the, was an older, she's much older than most, nightmares, like, having last as long as she has. She's learned, and she doesn't usually, like, take over the host's body, like, as of immediately, and will often wait for a time period where they're, like, alone, and she has, like, usually she'll make a deal with the person that will allow both of them to stay in this plane of existence. And often that person will remain immortal till, I mean, they don't want to be anymore, because at that point, then the host can pass on normally, and the nightmare will be able to take over a different body. Like, nightmares need other people. They like, genuinely need other people to be able to, live and thrive. Okay. It's been about an hour, and I'm tired, so I'm gonna head off. But we have this guy, which is our cartoon version of the nightmare, and then we have this one as our, like, child version of our main protagonist in my book. The main protagonist, her name is, of course, Maria. And then we have Darkness, which is her, like, little parasite nightmare. So, yeah. Just gonna let my thing play through, but anyway, I'm tired. I'm good to go. So thank you for, watching this at a later date if you end up doing that. But, yeah. I will see you. Bye-bye.